was such a nice morning. No noises, nothing. Goodbye, house. See you in the evening. It's raining, and still I don't want to continue the movie script. Just don't feel like it. I cannot go and travel somewhere. I need to wait for 1st of November. Then sit in jail for 2 days. When that one is done, I can go to Norway. Yeah, it's cool. So I did some magazine ASMRs, and I'm ending this now, and I tried to do like explaining the elite agenda, but still within the magazine. The foxes would come and get the bags. That's why it needs to be in here. So yeah, and if I can at all, I'm not sure though. Shall I not? Go and see that one guy that got stuff that I could smoke. You know, at home, alone. I could. Just to get, the feeling of, no. Well, the movie script, I'm still gonna work on it. I saw Hangover on the weekend. So, they end with a lot of pictures of the party from a camera. And I'm wanting that as well. I want the movie to end with a mushroom trip. I always planned so. But then a cat comes by and she starts crying. So she gets comforted by the guys, by the people that are with her. And so once she's over with this, next day they go drink milk above the city from a vending machine. They get milk. So they sit in a car and drink milk. And what I want to do is end the movie by having them go through the pictures of last night. Like the sound. They say, oh well, let's look at the pictures. And then the credits roll and you see that hilarious pictures. So now I gotta think about stuff you do when on mushrooms. Like, hugging a tree and serenading a wall. Like some guy once was on LSD and I didn't know. So he was inspecting the refrigerator. I was at the girl that was piercing me. So we were kind of I don't know. Well, we were kind of there's two things coming into my mind right now. We were hanging in the kitchen, and so that guy that I knew from his squatted house was with me. And we were kind of, talking, she and me. So he was kind of getting bored, I guess, I thought. Well, later on, so he went and he looked at her refrigerator. That's it. And she went like, why are you doing this? She wasn't from that financial capital, from Zurich, so she might be a little bit still a farmer at heart from the countryside. Kind of going, what's he doing in my fridge? When you're from Zurich, you don't care as long people don't, sneeze into your refrigerator. I'm fine as long as I'm safe. So yeah, crazy people are around at Zurich. But then when we later on were walking in the city, he needed to pee, so he was standing on a wall at the house, and he just didn't get it done. It was just taking so long. So I was kind of going, come on, do it. Let's get going. And that was the clue. I knew then, oh, he's high on drugs. And he didn't tell me. See, he wanted to experience me on drugs. I'm sure he had a girlfriend at that time. And she was kind of not living at that squat. So maybe being jealous that he and me, we kind of clicked. We weren't doing anything. We were just talking and stuff. And he was kind of saying, yeah, if you want to squat, go and do it yourselves. And I was like, oh, okay then. If you guys, like the other women, if you don't want me around, I thought, then yeah, I'll find another crowd. So I was finding people that wanted to squat the house. Actually, they just had a meeting. So Anna was there, and people I don't know knew. And so there was a bowl, and I had some salad with me, and I wanted to offer it to everyone that was interested. So I put the salad and the sauce there. And then the guy with the dog told me that it's the dog's ball. Okay. So he had a girlfriend. Then there was Anna, there was a blonde guy and some Italian guy. And a few other people. 2 drug dealers. One was an electrician, still at work. The other one was living at home. Those 2 were smoking. And so, yeah. We went into that house right beside the station at Zurich on a Monday morning. We broke the door, or it was open. Well, actually, I need to say it was open. Whoops, because if it's that you break a door, then it's like you're breaking stuff. The police, the owner of the house could go saying, you destroyed my property. But if it's open, you just enter. It's just that you're breaking the peace of their home. That's what it's called, legally, the term. So that if you do it once, it's just the police will tell you, sod off. But if you do it more often, then you get a fine and you gotta sit in prison for it and stuff. So that's why that Dirk was telling me, get your own squat. We've squatted and you just joined later on. Because, I was kicked from a school and I couldn't live in that atelier, that media laboratory it is, anymore. So I had to take all my stuff with a taxi and get it somewhere. So with a friend of mine, we were just taking my mattress and the carpet and a few things, and we were transporting it to that squat. And so then, that new squat. Monday we went in. On the other side there was the Swiss AIDS Foundation and a hemp store, and it was that sort of street where people would just illegally sell and buy grass and hash. Still do, but you can also buy it alongside the lake, or it doesn't have to be along that street. But this one still is very heavily controlled by the police. They just drive there with their cars and look and do stuff, like control their people's ID cards and look if they have some drugs on them. Sorry. So we were moving in there, and the house had lots of kind of destroyed floors. And because the floor were destroyed on the room underneath, the ceiling was destroyed. So there was always a gap in every room. They made sure nobody goes in there to squat. But we had places from construction sites actually, and we had carried a lot of wood to that house the night before. So with a carriage we would just walk down that long street where all the whores are standing, and the drugs actually get sold, and whew, so there we would pass by and then enter our street and just deposit the wood right there. Nobody would object, even though it was that heavily controlled street in Zurich. We would just use the middle of the road, and really we did so. Me and a friend, me and another girl. So then on Monday, like 2 o'clock, the police arrived. There was an elderly woman and her son, I remember, with us. And so they told us to get to the uppermost floor, and the police was standing in front of that old woman with a machine gun pointed at her. The others were sitting alongside the wall, and then they called for people and said, all your belongings now go into that bag. So that they did do me so, and I just gave them all I had, in that bag. I was obeying. So then they took me down to the street, and then I thought they would take me with their automobile and check and interrogate. But no, he said you can go. That's because if houses got no plan, if that houses have never been registered for being reconstructed, then the police can go and say, there is people in your house, and then the owner go, throw them out. So the police does that, but otherwise they don't need to file a whatever. It's not a major crime, So they let me run. So I went to my initial squat and I talked to the people there, and I was washing myself because all morning long when we were moving in, we were mending the floors. So I was dirty by then, hammering and nailing and carrying wood and all the dirt falling. So yeah, I was there and I was talking about that squat, and then later on I went back, because if once you've got thrown out by the police the second time, it doesn't happen, because then it costs the owner something, right? But then when we had 2 days or so mended the floors and stuff, we were looking for contact to the owners, and we invited them. So they came, 2 people, they sat in our main room. That main room had a room beside it that was a smaller room, and it looked like our kind of room with all the tools. And because all the floors already were closed, she was like sitting there and wow, and so they went like, okay, you can be here until we start doing something with this house. Yeah. But we had a room where we wanted to mend bicycles. There was a room with all the tools. Then I downstairs got the room, and I just tried to kind of close the windows with wood so that I could destroy ceramics in there, like plates and stuff that I got from a second-hand shop. That was my art project. So my room was initially on the top, but beside me there was this guy with his girlfriend, and he was the one kind of like always sitting at the highest position when something was being discussed at the group meeting. So he was actually kind of insecure and wanting to take the lead. There is the fucking cable car. So because of that, I didn't really like him too much, because he didn't like me. So I moved one room downstairs, just above the main room. We had like 5 floors, and the cellar. So yeah, it was like him wanting to have people play their music in the cellar, and then for 1 Swiss franc all the punks would visit our house. So we would make like 200 Swiss francs when selling beer at that night or more. So by the time we had like 1,000 Swiss francs from these parties, and everyone was always helping to clean the cellar, to clean everything, and to make things